Hello and welcome to Not Outlaw Podcast. Today I have something a little bit different for you because I actually lost my voice this week, so I've been unable to record an episode and have it edited in time to go up today. I was actually going to miss a week of uploads, which would have been rubbish, but luckily I had the absolute pleasure of being invited to guest on the Killers, Cults and Queens podcast at CrimeCon. Cheryl and Nikki invited me to do a live episode recording all about cults. Each one of us went out and found a cult that horrifies and intrigues us, and we told them to each other. I've seen some of you guys requesting for me to talk about cults in the comments of these videos, so bon appetit. Here is a little snippet from that live show. The full thing will be out over on Killers, Cults and Queens podcast this Friday, the 20th of June. Once it's live, I will edit the description of this video to add a link for all of you from the future. In the meantime, they do have other episodes. You can find them anywhere you get your podcasts. They're a fabulous pair. I had the best time at CrimeCon with them. Before I show you the snippet of this podcast recording, though, I have to address the elephant that is about to be in the room. My whole leg. I totally didn't think through my outfit when I got dressed that morning, and I put on a skirt with a massive slit up the side. Like, my leg is the star of the show today. And it's funny because there used to be this running joke online that, like, oh, Eleanor Neale doesn't have legs because I only ever really posted, like, talking head videos from here up. So here is me proving that I do actually have legs. Anyways, before I hand over to the CrimeCon voiceover man to introduce us, I do want to warn you of some sensitive topics that do come up in this case, including manipulation, forced gender reassignment, and mention of suicide. Viewer discretion is advised. Outlaw.
And we're absolutely thrilled to bring you Killers, Cults and Queens, the darkest cults in history with Eleanor Neale. What pulls ordinary people into dangerous cults? How do charismatic leaders gain such power? And how does devotion spiral into disaster? Please welcome Nikki Druce and Cheryl the Queen, along with special guest Eleanor Neale, as they delve into some of history's most infamous cults, unraveling the psychological forces at play and the tragedies that followed. Welcome to Killers, Cults and Queens and Eleanor Neale.
That's where you clap. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That was very dramatic.
Oh my goodness. I don't think we've ever had an introduction like that before, have we?
No.
Wow. Well, I'm Nikki Druce.
And I'm Cheryl,
And this is Killers, Cults and Queens.
the podcast where we journey to the spookiest, scariest, and downright weirdest corners of the world.
In this episode, we're live from CrimeCon with the incredible Eleanor Neale.
Hello, everyone.
Are you both ready?
I'm ready.
So ready.
Fantastic. Let's go. So today we're going to be looking at some of the darkest cults in history. Eleanor, you have something twisty, dark, terrifying.
I have indeed
For
brought
us.
something along. In fact, the cult that I have brought along today, not physically, they're not amongst the audience.
Please welcome
Please
to the
welcome to
stage.
the stage.
Yeah, the cult that I'm going to talk about today is a little bit lighter than that one. You know, I guess it's down to interpretation because I find this one so soul-destroying because it has a lot of psychological manipulation, and a lot of the time I think that is one of the scariest things for me when it comes to these cases is like how someone can get into your head when I consider myself quite a level-headed individual. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about the twin flame universe. So we've seen the YouTuber to mainstream celebrity pipeline, but have you ever seen the YouTuber to cult leader pipeline? Well, it's happened. It's actively still happening. It's called twin flame universe.
What, right here, right now?
Not in CrimeCon, fortunately.
Go meet them now at their booth.
And like all good cult origin stories, it starts with a man living in a shack who looks like Jesus.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
So his name is Jeff, and he's one of those guys who's always got a new shady business plan. He's an entrepreneurial crook. At one point, he was even claiming that he could cure any ailment from headaches to cancer for as little as $30 and an online session. That's not actually related to the cult, but I just couldn't pass up telling you about that.
Sounds like a bargain.
Insane.
Yeah.
So, in 2012, Jeff met a woman on Facebook who would soon become his business and cult leading partner. Her name, well, she's called Megan, but she doesn't go by Megan. She actually goes by her spiritually appointed name of Shaleia, which is something that came to her in a meditation session or something like that.
Shaleia. I can hear it now. I can hear it now.
Shaleia. It makes me think of Kalima.
So Jeff and Shaleia were convinced that they had a divine relationship. God himself brought them together. They were twin flames. Now, if you don't know, the concept of a twin flame is that there is one individual out there that is essentially your soulmate, and your life goal should be to find them and to love them. Jeff and Shaleia ended up making a YouTube channel giving tips and tutorials to help other people find that one thing that can fix all of your problems, your very own twin flame. And soon they built a thriving community of other people looking for that exact same thing. It's called Twin Flame Universe. On their website, they sold online classes. The whole package, if you wanted to buy the whole thing all in one go, it's just short of $9,000 in total.
Whoa.
And in these online classes, Jeff and Shaleia would...
Sorry.
These seats are
Cheryl's
awful.
fallen off the chair. So in these classes, Jeff and Shaleia would coach their followers to find and trap their twin flame. They taught these push and pull dynamics, which basically means every time your love interest tries to pull away, you need to push for them harder. It doesn't matter if that person doesn't like you back, doesn't want you, don't take no for an answer. Now, obviously, brainwashing people to not accept rejection like this caused a lot of very serious consequences. There are so many cases that we could talk about, but one of them that I've pulled out is that one of the students was still in love with her ex, and even though he didn't want anything to do with her, Jeff and Shaleia insisted that this man was her twin flame and that she should keep trying, until she got arrested and hit with a restraining order for, well, stalking and harassing this man. When you see videos of Jeff talking and teaching in these classes, it is clear to see how he managed to manipulate people so well. Everyone was so intimidated by him. He's a very commanding man. His teaching style is very angry, manipulative, narcissistic. Shaleia, on the other hand, was kind of just like a nodding yes man next to him, just echoing all of his points.
Oh, Churchill.
But Jeff was always looking for ways to make more money. Like I said, he's an entrepreneurial crook. And soon he had an idea to essentially turn this business into a pyramid scheme. Of course he did. They began to recruit their existing members as coaches. Now, all of these people had initially joined looking for love, but now they'd shelled out thousands of dollars, spent hours being manipulated into committing crimes like harassment and stalking, and now they were working for the company, roping other people into this effed up world of Twin Flame Universe. Jeff and Shaleia soon began controlling what their members were and were not allowed to eat. Members had to follow a very specific meal plan, which, of course, Jeff and Shaleia charged even more money for. And this meal plan was the exact same for every single member, but as we know, all bodies require different things and different amounts of different nutrients. So this exact same meal plan that everyone was ingesting had a variety of different effects. Members were left feeling lethargic and unwell. Many of them gained weight rapidly, and in general, their bodies changed so much that they became even more detached from the person that they were when they first joined the cult. I mean, community. They insist that it's not a cult, so... not these two.
Don't use the C
Jeff
word.
and Shaleia will insist that this is not a cult, but I'm saying it is. Together, Jeff and Shaleia taught members to blame themselves for all of their problems using the mirror technique, which has members looking inward and asking themselves how everything is their own fault. What did you do to cause yourself all of the suffering in your life? Of course, this teaching is so toxic. It taught members that the reason that they couldn't find love, they couldn't find their twin flame, is because they're inherently flawed. Most of the Twin Flame Universe members began to suffer severely with their mental health, but the community taught them that seeking professional help was bad, you shouldn't do it. And this actually culminated in a young follower taking her life after suffering all alone. Jeff and Shaleia were truly ruining people's lives, convincing members to cut off their suspicious and concerned family members, but it would all be worth it because in the end they would find their divine partner, their twin flame. But there was a problem. Pairing people with outsiders from the community wasn't really working because, outsiders thought that it was all really weird and off-putting. So for that exact reason, they had to keep the matchmaking within the Twin Flame Universe community. But here's the thing. The majority of members were straight women. All the male members were drying up. And if there aren't enough men to go around, well, what's the solution? I'm going to let you think to yourself, because I actually don't know if people would be able to guess this. I know. Brilliant.
I don't know. Tell me.
Well, they began pressuring straight women to reconsider if they were gay. Gay women that were already part of this cult were pressured to lean more into masculinity, being told to pick new names, new identities, new pronouns, and even new bodies. Gender reassignment surgeries, hormone treatments, and medical abuse began. So far, there are 3 known cases of this still active in the cult. And it is important to note that these are likely people that had never had plans to transition before they had joined the cult and Jeff and Shaleia started telling them to. A cult that essentially forces their members into gender reassignment surgery is truly insane. Some people could consider this cult on the milder side, like I said, compared to ones where there's murder, there's mass suicide involved. But I genuinely think this level of psychological manipulation to change your whole entire identity is what makes this cult truly horrifying. So, where is the Twin Flame universe today? Well, despite the backlash that they have received online and in documentaries and right here at CrimeCon because of me, Twin Flame universe is actually expanding and seemingly thriving. There are thousands of active members on their Facebook group today. Both Jeff and Shaleia are now estranged from their families. Are we shocked? But they actually started their own family together in 2023 when they welcomed a baby girl. God help that child. And the last little tidbit, this is just a silly little bit that I wanted to put on the end. Jeff recently left a stunning Google review for a gas station and pizza restaurant where he says, "I am the master of all Christ." And to that, amen.
Wow. Every time you said the Twin Flame universe, all I could hear was the Marvel Cinematic Universe in my head.
Yeah, the TFU.
Yeah. Honest, that is, okay, instantly, as somebody in the LGBTQIA plus community, hearing that they were coercing people into transitioning in a time and a climate where transgender people are already suffering so much at the moment is just adding more fuel to the fire for the hate towards the community. And it's just sort of fired me up inside that I just want to smack little baby Jesus on that screen right now.